Hello, this is a quick video on Love's Philosophy by Percy Bysshe Shelley. As ever with any of these guides, they're intended to be some useful annotations to supplement your studies. They're not intended to be a substitution for any of your own original ideas, which are always far more convincing to an examiner than those of somebody else's. I'm going to read the poem and then talk very briefly about a few things you could say about it. Love's Philosophy by Percy Bysshe Shelley. The fountains mingle with the river, and the rivers with the ocean. The winds of heaven mix forever with a sweet emotion. Nothing in the world is single, all things by a law divine in one another's being mingle. Why not I with thine? See the mountains kiss high heaven, and the waves clasp one another. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What are all these kissings worth, if thou kiss not me? Okay, so quite simply, what is it all about? The speaker in this poem is writing about how natural it is for humans to have a physical relationship as well as a spiritual and emotional one. The speaker is trying to convince the person they love to kiss them. A little bit of information about Shelley. Shelley is a romantic poet, which means that he was writing roughly in the same time period as poets like Wordsworth, Keats, Byron, and William Blake. He writes about the natural world and he celebrates it, and you can see that evident in this poem. Shelley was born in Sussex, in Horsham, and he attended Eton College. He later attended Oxford University, but he was expelled for writing and publishing atheist pamphlets. His father, who convinced the university to allow him to continue his studies, fell out with Shelley, who refused to retract his comments. At the age of 19, Shelley married his first wife, Harriet Westbrook, but their relationship didn't last long, and the sister of Harriet was particularly trying to Shelley, and they didn't get on at all. 5 years later, he fell in love with Mary Godwin. She was just 16 at the time, he was 24. And 3 weeks after Harriet Westbrook committed suicide, he married Mary, and she went on to write Frankenstein. The first stanza, then, the fountains mingle with the river and the rivers with the ocean. This whole poem is full of natural and religious imagery, which is designed to naturalise the situation of love and to convince whoever he's speaking to in this poem that love and physical love are natural and are normal and are healthy. You've got a rhetorical question, which is repeated at the end of this stanza, but also at the end of the poem, asking the question, why shouldn't I be with you? Why shouldn't I physically be with you in a way that everything else in the world is? He really emphasizes that nothing in the world is single, and there's a real divine possibility and divine reasoning behind everything in the world going together. The imagery in the first three lines in particular flows. It's the springs going into the rivers running into the ocean. It's this idea of freedom, free flowing nature, and the winds as well. The idea of mingle being an important word, meaning to mix together completely. And all these words of joining and union are used frequently throughout the poem. And in the second stanza, it begins with an imperative. He's commanding whoever he's speaking to, and the reader becomes that person in a sense. He's commanding them to see the mountains kiss high heaven and the waves clasp one another. These are passionate terms rather than simply wanting to join together. They want to grab together and not let go. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdained its brother. Disdain means to cast off or to reject. So it's possibly a poem about unrequited love, although there might not be anything else to suggest that. And the sunlight clasps the earth. So again, you've got the repetition of clasp, like we had the repetition of mingle in the previous stanza. And you've got the repetition of kiss or kissing in the polyptychon of kissings. You've got that 4 times in this poem. He continues to use natural imagery, and one of the effects of this is that it makes the love seem eternal and consistent. The fountains will always mingle with the rivers will always mingle with the oceans, the sunlight will always be there, the moonbeams will always be there. It makes the love seem eternal, consistent, and normal. And that's not repeated. That is emphasised with the use of anaphora, the repeated and at the beginning of the 2 lines in this stanza, and the listing of everything that should go together. The repetition of kiss, clasp, and mingle reinforces the desire of the speaker and the way that they really want to be with the other person. In terms of form and structure, it's very simple: A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D for both stanzas. It's a regular rhythm, but the last lines stand out with shorter syllables, and that's because really that's his central message of why can't he be with this person, or why can't he kiss the person that he would like to kiss. A short analysis today, but thank you very much.